Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is me, Timid Angel, along with Zoe and the great Muda in Jade Palace. And I'm here to answer a question that a lot of you have been asking, probably so many people, unless if you've played this game for the longest time, and probably max level. But anyone new to the game, and perhaps just somebody who hasn't played the game in a while, and doesn't know all these new spells, it is, what do I spend my training points on? Now, this is actually a very good question. Now, it obviously depends on your school, what you learn, what your playstyle is, whether you're doing a co-op or if you're doing solo. It all depends. But I think these are probably some of the most essential spells you need to learn. Starting things, I'm just going to go to this. Starting things off with a small recommendation, I recommend that if you are doing PvP, learn every single dispel. That will be helpful. If you don't want to, there are always TC, but definitely you want to at least learn the Fire Dispel, the Storm Dispel, and the Life Dispel. Because I feel like those three schools, one, Fire and Storm prevent the Fire and Storm Wizards from hitting you, Life prevents Jades from heal spamming. And honestly, who wouldn't want that? Going on to the Ice School, if you're an Ice Wizard, do not worry, you're covered. But if you are not, I honestly think you should learn up to the Tower Shield from Lydia Greyrose. Very good spell. Honestly, it's situational. There might be some fights where you need it, like maybe Ghost Dog or something, but there are also bosses that get rid of them with cheats, so it's situational, and I think it serves its use. But, you know, it's good enough. Moving on to the Myth School, we obviously have the extract spells from the new Monstrology teacher. If you participate in Monstrology, learn these. They are amazing. There are two more, but I don't have those yet. Life School. Now, most of you professionals know what I'm talking about. Get a Life Mastery and learn up to Satyr. Hands down, best heal in the game, in my opinion. Heals 860. That's a huge base for a heal. Just a straight heal. And you could probably do it turn 1 if you have a Life Mastery or if you're a Life Wizard. You learn these from Melinda Wu or the Life Scholar in both Ravenwood and in the Arcanum. Deaf School, I don't have to worry about this, but some of you non-deaf wizards might. That's the reason why I see a lot of people saying you should be a deaf wizard, or you should at least only learn deaf spells. You gotta learn the spell Feint. Go to Dworgen, or I think Malorn Ashthorn teaches it to you. I'm pretty sure it's Dworgen and Kishma in both Nightside and the Arcanum. Learn up to Feint. Feint is essential for questing, in my opinion. Sure, you put a trap on yourself, but it's a plus 30 trap that's basically just putting a curse on yourself. And then you put a plus 70 trap on your opponent. That is great. Obviously, I've learned every single Deaf Dispel except for Deaf Spell, not Dispel. Why would I have only Deaf Dispel? But I've learned almost every single Deaf Spell except for two of them, which one I forgot to learn, it's an Avalon, and one I never did a spell quest for, which was the minion from Helston Baelstrom, which I completely forgot existed. Moving on to the Balance School, this is where things get a little more situational. Learn Reshuffle. Amazing spell. Reshuffle is a spell that I recommend everyone learns because you're going to need it at one point if you run out of cards. You can learn this from Mildred Farseer in Colossus Boulevard. She lives in like the little secret hut. And learn your school's Triple Blade and Triple Trap from Niles the Balance Tree. Why do I have Elemental Blade? Well, since I'm a deaf, I can be support, and I recommend you also learn this blade if you don't have it already. And that's just because you're gonna need the Elemental Blades for one reason, and one reason only. When you use them, you can boost a Storm, you can boost a Fire, they're hammers, they deal damage. Astral spells are actually pretty complicated when it comes to that. Now, Strong, Giant, Monstrous, and Gargantuan can be learned from various of the Sun School trainers throughout Celestia. There are multiple, and I think it's like one teaches you these two, and then another teaches you this one, and another this one. I couldn't look this up. Colossal you learn from the Sun School trainer in Zafaria, and I think Drum Jungle's the location. Potent Trap and Sharpened Blade are both learned from the Sun School Trainer, and as Tekka, you have to do a side quest to reactivate the Shadow Obelisk. You'll get a little pop-up notification like the professor right there, telling you, hey, I figured out how to reactivate the Sun School Trainer. And then, Epic, you learn from... what's the guy's name again? You learn this from Qyburn Stellar Gaze in the Arcanum. You learn Epic, Aegis, and Indemnity. These are great spells. Not to mention, Epic is basically the best enchantment you can give to a hit. Sharpened Blade and Potent Trap, I forgot to mention these. They buff your blade and your trap or your shield or your weakness. It allows you to stack them and do mass damage. Aegis and Indemnity work similarly, except they don't make them do more. They protect them, so if you're fighting a boss that has a cheat and he gets rid of shields, you could put an Aegis on that and the shield won't go away. Shift Green Oak is also a very good spell. You learn this one from Arkin Moonblade and Chrysalis. I think it's the Moon Tower you learn it from. It allows you to deal some life damage, which honestly could help, especially if you are a life wizard and they put a shield up, or just any person puts a tower shield up. It's annoying. Use that spell, it will put a weakness on them and a blade on you. Perfect. It can also be enchanted with Aegis, Indemnity, Epic, Sharpened Blade. It can be enchanted with all 4 of these. And it makes for a great spell overall. Like, honestly, very versatile. The shift spells are so underrated, and I wish people appreciated them more. Virulence, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't use this that much, but it is a very good spell for deaf wizards. There's also the other school variations of it. I think I have some TC ones. Let me check. I do not, but there are the variations for all schools, and then Balance has, I think, 3 variations, and then there's a healing variant. You learn these from the Star School Trainer in Azteca, and basically what they do is they give you plus 25% to your school's damage for 4 turns, and plus 5% power pip chance, but you also take plus 10% incoming to your opposite school. So Deaf will take bonus damage from life, Ice will take bonus damage from fire, fire life, Myth storm, storm myth, balance. Now the balance one, I think it's like you get plus damage to fire, ice, and storm, and then you take bonus damage to death, life, and myth, or I don't know how the balance ones work. They're really complicated. If you want to learn Amplify, I think that's a good spell, but honestly, I say you should wait and get these. If you have to have an aura, bring TCs. Like Conviction, I don't recommend you ever learn Conviction. Only use the Conviction TC. Same thing with Infallible. The TC versions are just sometimes way better. Moving on to the almighty Shadow spells. Shadow Sentinel, very good if you're playing a Taking class. You learn this. And Shadow Strike. Shadow Strike is essential for soloing, in my opinion, because you get that massive amount of pierce. Really good damage. But you also take backlash the more you use it. These can be learned from Sophia Darkside and Chrysalis. Same area as Arc and Moonblade, so I'm 90% sure it's the Moon Tower. Shadow Seraph, I don't actually recommend you learn this. It's way too situational to be good. But I use it. Like I said, it's very situational. But if you just need that heal, you learn it. You don't need to know where it is. Half the schools will get this. No, Life and Death will get this when they quest in Chrysalis. Others will get, I think it's called Dark Sentinel. I don't know. And then Dark Nova. Dark Nova is the one most people learn. I decided not to learn it because the shadow spells can be very situational because they take shadow pips. And at the moment in the game, most wizards, if they have proper gear on, will only have about 5 to 7 shadow pip chance. So they're too situational to be considered good. If you have to learn one, I recommend learning Strike. Most of you might get it for free. The rest of you will get Sentinel for free. They're still good spells overall. There's also Shadow Seraph, which can be learned in the same location as these two. That's for healers. So, I guess your gear, like I said, the spells you learn, they can be situational. They depend on your school. But when it came to specifically Satyr, you had to have an item. And that would have to be a Life Mastery Amulet, which is in the Crown Shop for, in my opinion, too high of a price. You can farm it from areas in Waterworks. You can farm it in areas from Waterworks. I'm 90% sure drops it. I think I got a Storm Master amulet from them. You can also get it from the Tower of the Elephant, I think. Darkmoor drops these in the chest in Entrance Hall. But yeah, definitely good. Yeah, I need to get a new amulet. But is that all the bases I had to cover? Yeah. Anyways, guys. Honestly, hope you enjoyed that video. I gibbered for half of it, but you know what? That's just me. Hope you all enjoyed. Peace.